All right, folks. So hello and welcome to day 2 of the PowerBI Conference. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And we're going to kick it off with Rakesh telling us about how to improve performance in a contact center. Now, you are attending the PowerBI Conference Business Leader Edition. This one is focused on empowering the business leader or the aspiring business leader to lead their team on the path of Power BI. We do run other conferences. We're going to repeat the Business User Edition early 2022, and that is more the classic Power BI step-by-step demos, deep dive into DAX, M modeling, things like that. We were planning a new one, the Career Edition plus virtual job fair to empower both the employers and the job seekers. So that's coming soon. And of course, we do a ton of live events. So just stay tuned, stay subscribed to us on email, and you will get to hear about all of these events when closer to the date. This conference is being hosted and sponsored by learnpowerbi.com. Our signature program there is a small group coaching program to help you become a Power BI consultant. And the goal is to get you to a point where you do what you love and get really, really good at it. You make an impact using your Power BI skills to help others and create a life of freedom, or as I like to say, create a life by design, not by accident. Now, you have heard many of our members in the Power BI Consulting Program speak in this conference. So yeah, I mean, you can see the impact that they are creating, that the work they're doing, and I'm a big fan of theirs. So this program is opening January 2022. That's January next year. Just go to our site to sign up for the waitlist and get more information. During this session, you can use the chat to, well, just chat with speakers or attendees. This will be the main area. You can respond to speaker questions. Use the Q&A to post question for the speaker. And please upvote other questions that you like. That helps us select the best questions. I would remind everybody that this is a safe space. So the first golden rule is that there are no dumb questions. So feel free to ask. You will not be judged. You will always be treated with respect. And of course, we ask you to do the same. All right, we're ready for Rakesh. Hey, Rakesh, I'm going to stop sharing and give it over to you. And folks, let's hear about how Power BI can be used to improve the performance at a contact center or call center.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Avi. Just going to share my screen and tell me you can see that. Share. Okay.
Yeah, it looks great.
Everybody can see that. And I just want to switch over to the first interview. First interview. Just give me a second here. Okay, tell me what screen you can see.
I think we see the main screen, the presentation. I'm seeing like a full screen slide.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, awesome. That's correct. Okay, thank you everyone for joining the Power BI Conference 2021. And as Avi has mentioned, I'm Rakesh Suke. I'm all the way from South Africa, sunny South Africa. And today I'm going to be talking to you about how to improve your customer service centers using data and analytics. So you're probably wondering, how does a data analyst know, or what does a data analyst actually know about contact centers or customer service? Somebody who sits and he codes all day, he develops bills, reports, things like that. So let me draw your attention to that picture or that guy in the picture, actually. So this is me in 2001, exactly 20 years ago, where I used to actually work in a customer services environment. So that I've got about just over 15 years contact center customer services experience, and I've worked myself up the ranks from an agent to a team leader, supervisor, and later on as a operations manager, managing call centers of over 200 seaters and more. So yeah, I'm quite passionate about this industry. I've always had a passion for people, working with people, improving people's performance and seeing people benefit from that. So that gives me a little bit of insight into some of you who are managing contact centers or customer service centers and would like to use the information that you have at hand to actually improve the performance of your call center. But what I want to point out to you is one of my main challenges that really stood out to me while I was putting this or preparing for my Power BI conference is what did I really battle with, or what did I actually what challenged me? And the one thing that stood out was conducting performance reviews. You know, there was a lot of information in a contact center, as many of you who probably manage these environments know. There's information that's that sits in different systems or data sources, things like that. And I was actually known as an Excel guru, or got labeled as an Excel guru. And one of my colleagues mentioned, hey, maybe you should check out one of these tools called by Microsoft, which I later explored, and I'll dive into that a little later. But I've been using this tool for just over 4 years now, and I've become a full-time consultant, helping businesses globally to improve their customer services environments within all their contact centers. Okay, I just want to go to the next slide. That logo that you see there is actually my company that I've registered, BI Dashboards, and I'll touch on that a little later. Okay, let's just see. So some of the problem areas that I was faced with in a contact center was, as I mentioned, performance reviews. And these were obviously for agents, for supervisors, team leaders, other managers, and it was a performance review, or generating a KPI is mostly used to highlight the strengths and the weaknesses at an individual level that affects the broader team or the customer service area. And the importance of having this information readily available is that when we tap into an individual's strength, a business can grow and flourish. And this can obviously positively impact your brand image for your company, and ultimately the bottom line. But in the same token, one of the weaknesses of in a customer services team is not having information readily available to make or effect change, and that can be damaging to your brand and adversely or negatively affect your profit margins. And it's therefore key that performance reviews at an individual level, or an agent or a supervisor or manager level, is given a high priority in every team. Some of you, I'm sure, are very familiar with some of the metrics in a contact center, like your quality scores, customer service or satisfaction ratings, first call resolution, number of calls handled, we have average handle time, things like that, and lots of this information sits, I think I mentioned earlier, on different platforms or data sources or systems. And what I used to have to do is, at the time of a performance review, is go to these various systems, gather that information, because we did the reviews, I think it was 3 months, so every 3 months we would do a review, gather this information from the different, put it into an Excel spreadsheet, write out formulas. Each like quality would have a different weighting versus average handle time versus first call resolution, punch in all these formulas and try and calculate a KPI score so that I could go to an individual and say, oh, okay, over the last quarter, this is how you performed. And out of a 5, you get a 3.4 based on X, Y, and Z. And this is what your plan is going forward. But it was such a time-consuming and a cumbersome process, and it was also prone to errors. Because I was manually gathering all this information, and sometimes the information wasn't in a presentable format, or there were missing parts to it, or things like that. So performance management for me at that point in time years ago became like a checklist or just an admin function. Oh, it's a tick box, let me get it over and done with. And I'm done with the admin portion. And the actual essence of performance management was becoming diluted or lost altogether. And I'm not sure, maybe some of you can maybe just type in the chat. How many of you feel this way about performance management within your contact center? And you can please just comment in the chat below. And let's just see if you face these kind of issues or problems. I'll just give it some time and I'll read out some of the comments that I see here. Okay, we got, I guess, from Emmanuel, I guess Power Automate to schedule. Okay, that sounds so familiar. David, do you know how to do it manually? You can, okay. Great, let's just give it a few more seconds. If anybody is managing a contact center and using information from different data sources, trying to get somebody says, is she sharing any contact? I'm seeing a white screen.
Yeah, no, we see your screen.
Oh,
fine. Yeah,
okay.
I'm on my phone as well.
It says performance reviews, right? Does it say performance areas, performance reviews?
Yeah, it looks
okay,
good. Both on my phone here.
Yes. I'm still talking into, okay, perfect, good. So yeah, as I was asking, does anybody actually have that kind of an issue where they trying to do a KPI rating?
Yeah, sometimes there's a bit of lag till they get it. I think Jonathan and Jimmy responded.
Oh, okay. Absolutely matches my experience. Oh, Johnny, thanks. Loads of systems move of them link or done haphazardly in SQL Server. Agreed, just completing the task for the sake or checking of boxes. That's by Jimmy. Fine on my side. Okay, my bad. I changed the Zoom. Okay, now that's okay. Great. So we see a few people can relate to what I'm talking to in terms of just gathering information from different data sources, things like that. And I kept asking myself, like, there must be a better way to do this, because firstly, I'm not really serving the people that I'm performance managing, because they should be having this or have access to this information more readily, not every quarter. And what was actually happening after the quarter, I'll do a blanket approach and say, oh, okay, let's do training in this aspect in objection handling, or let's look at quality of calls, or, oh, customer service ratings are low, let's do a customer service. There's a very blanket approach to the training. And it wasn't really, because I didn't have the granularity or the information to give specific people feedback. It was, we did a one size kind of fits all kind of training session. And that comes with its own set of issues. Like, for example, I spoke about the blanket approach, employee churn. So what I picked up with that was, because people were having, they were getting training, but their performance was improving. They were becoming disgruntled, and that you lose experienced staff because of that. Your long-standing staff or employees who are high tenured, you end up losing staff like that, and that leads to excessive recruitment costs. We all know, bringing in a new individual, training them from scratch, trying to get them up to speed with the new culture of the organization, all of those things. It's just increased costs on all sides. I touched a little on this. I don't know if you can see this funny guy here kicking around in the mud. And just a little bit about this and why I put this slide on is that having messy data is, with all the information like your quality, average handle time, customer satisfaction ratings, inbound calls, answered calls, service levels, sitting in different spaces, it becomes, this process is actually lengthened. It can take you maybe days, weeks to get the KPI scores out. And I just want to show you exactly what some of the information that I had, I used to look at, was like this. And this is actual data that I used to gather from various systems, customer service ratings, call data from the dialer or from your call system, quality information. So we had a quality team who would give us quality scores, and then there was the actual login and logout times to manage the actual call information. So we would take all of this information, put them in at an agent level, capture them, and try and get the score. And this is a real a real life story. I didn't actually show you the actual contact center data. It was just due to client confidentiality. So I used another report where I do have information to share or permission to share this information, because there was nothing. There was no sensitive data, should I put it that way. I've blocked out the sensitive data in this quality column here with the names and stuff like that. But some of you can relate with Excel and then putting everything into one sheet and trying to get a graph or a rating. And then I just want to move on. Okay. I then eventually learned about Power BI, and this was that solution that I provided. So this is something that I've designed for another company, a local company in South Africa, and where I've actually taken this information that I've shown on the previous slide, all of these things, these Excel spreadsheets, and brought it into a BI tool, which I use. There are a few tools out there, but my preference or tool of choice was being Power BI, where I bring in the information, create a data model, get the data to speak to each other, and then start drawing actual conclusions from the data. And if I can just talk around this dashboard for this organization that I developed it was, we had teams of people paired up. And these individuals in this situation, they used to go out and service customers who would call in, and they had a issue with a borehole, an irrigation system, something like that. So they would go out and sort the customer's problem out, and they would come back and they would have hours logged. So what I did was take this information. We were able from here to obviously all the different pieces of information in this company, like HR information, salary information, tracker information, well, in South Africa, what we do is we have vehicle tracking companies that track your mileage, where your vehicle is, the period you've been at a customer, all of that. So I brought that information in, joined it each two individual teams, and with the salary information. And there you could see very quickly SIPO and Datton, for example, they have their cost to companies 37,000 Rand, but their income that they're generating for the business is 565,000 Rand. And you had you could actually see the performance of each team, who was bringing in the most money. I put in a screenshot here, but there's actually a dashboard where you can slice and dice. You could select the year, and you could see exactly each team, the revenue, the gross profit percentage, average travel costs. We brought that in, the total travel costs, as well as how long they're on the road. So we brought this as, for a specific month or whatever it is, he would have spent 199 hours on the road. And I think this was for a week, and this was for a month. Yeah, the amount of time they're spending. But basically, the essence of this is to show you that having that disparate pieces of information in your contact center, and using that in Power BI, bringing that information, you have a dashboard, and very similar kind of scenario in a contact center, where now an agent or a manager who's managing a team has this information readily available. It's spitting out the revenue he's generating, how long he's on a call, his average handle time, and we're calculating a KPI score for him. So on a daily basis, instead of waiting for a 3-month period, this individual has now feedback and says, oh, okay, I can see my customer service rating is low, or my quality is low, or I'm taking a bit too long on a certain type of call. And from here, what I've been able to do is develop customized training plans for each individual. So we moved away from that blanket approach of having individuals, everybody goes for a training on objection handling, for example. So you'd have people who could be trained on exactly what their need was or requirement was. And one of the benefits from this is that it took out that admin task of me compiling an individual KPI report every 3 months and gathering data, because what I did was I was able to bring the data in and then refresh it, and everybody had visibility of it on a daily basis. The performance of the team went up like that, went up as well, because people were now every day having information readily available to go and see where they needed to improve. Managers could say, oh, okay, I can see SIPO and Datum today, you were too long on customers. Let's see what challenges you faced, and give them specific feedback or customized individual training plans. And I just want to move on to the next slide. So these were some of the business improvements that we saw. So we had reduced employee churn, which was one of the issues that we were facing, because there was more job satisfaction, things like that. People were more, it was a win-win situation for, I knew exactly what I needed to improve to get to the next level, or get my promotion, or unlock my performance rating towards my bonus, things like that. And I touched on this. We had customized training plans set up for each individual that spoke to their specific needs. I think the overall result of this was an improved customer service for the contact centers that I used to manage. And I think that's, yeah, in a nutshell, that brings my presentation to an end. And I just want to move into the next slide. That's just my contact information there, where you can reach out to me if you want to get in touch and discuss, maybe if you're running a contact center and you have this information in different places, you'd like to develop either a dashboard, and we put your information together, get you a dashboard, we sit and get it automated, so that, and different managers have different views, or agents have a different view where they only see their information. Manager sees his team's information, a director sees the entire center's information, that kind of stuff. So I want to, yeah, that's
all right. Hey, thanks so much, Rakesh.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So folks, let's do a few things. For one, I'm going to launch the poll. So yeah, please take part in that. And hey, Robert, can you do me a favor? Can you paste Rakesh's LinkedIn URL in the chat as well, so people have it there too?
It's there already.
Done that. Yeah.
Oh, yay. Looks like he's reading my mind. All right. So yeah, perfect. So folks, again, his LinkedIn information is there. And of course, you see his email on there as well. Feel free to reach out to him, connect with him. And of course, you saw in the chat, Raul and I were getting excited that, of course, this is pretty incredible what he's doing. But I'm like, wow, every company, every industry, they paid so much care and attention to manage their employee performance and have that quick feedback loop available, right? I mean, don't meet me once a year, right, and tell me that, oh, Avi, yeah, I mean, you're doing great, but these are the areas of improvement or whatever, right? I mean, that's the performance review that I typically got. And I love the sentiment behind all this. And I love that quote. And I chatted about that too. What Rakesh said at the beginning, which he said, when we tap into an individual's strengths, the whole organization grows. And what a beautiful sentiment. I wish more companies moved in that direction, right? Where they really, truly, deeply cared about their employees, because that's how you build great companies, right? And not see them as cogs in this giant machine and this fodder that you just throw in, like almost cannon fodder, right? So I think we need more like that. So folks, put your questions in the question box if you can. Now, there was earlier from Pauline, and there was some good discussion between Pauline and David. But I wanted to ask, so I think she's talking about Power BI, Power Automate. Yeah, have you used that in any of the solutions, or do you feel it's applicable to the kind of work around call centers?
I mean, to be quite honest, I haven't used Power Automate yet. Most of my clients were happy with the dashboard,
Yeah,
getting that in your. So that's no, I haven't
yeah,
used Power Automate yet.
yeah.
But
Just
sure,
yeah.
carry on.
Yeah, I'm also curious. So first, there is to tell you the truth, I always mix them up, the Power Automate and Power Apps. So Pauline was asking about Power Automate, but I'm also thinking about Power Apps where you can collect feedback from the user, right? So usually BI reports and dashboards are kind of one way. Is there a scenario in the contact center where that could be useful, where the agent could tap something and yeah, I'm wondering other scenarios around that.
Yes, most definitely. So agents, it's a performance management or a performance a review is a two-way part. So information that is available at the agent's desktop through Power BI, where he's tracking and managing his performance every day, real time. He has the ability to communicate to his superiors. Not through the dashboard, but through team meetings and stuff like that. But they've got that information ready available to say, oh, okay, I see you yesterday you took 3 calls. Of the 3, you had 2 poor ratings. Let's go and delve into that and listen to those calls, unpack, and
Yeah.
But it's a lot more readily available than waiting for a performance review to give you a generic feedback.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Pauline is kind of following up on that, and that's a good thread. So I want to stay for a bit. So so what you talked about was them getting feedback. It's like, yep, you did this, and here's feedback. But what she's asking
Yes.
is, agent comes in, and can the system tell them that, hey, this is what you need to focus. These are the clients you need to call, or this is the action you need to take. Could a system like that be helpful? And would Power BI be the right tool for that, for designing something like that?
Pauline, great question. Most definitely, because we've got indicators on the dashboard to say, we color code it according to how the client wants. So if you're below the target or above the target, we flag it either red or green. So you see the red, and you can then click on the red, and you can see, oh, okay, this is what contributed to that. And yeah, that actually sparks off a conversation, so they can see exactly where they should focus on. So the KPI is an end result of a combination of different contact center metrics, but they could break that up and say, oh, okay, I should be on a 4. I'm aiming for a 4. I got a 2 yesterday. Why did I get a 2? Exactly what caused me? Or was it my quality? Was it maybe I left the customer on hold for too long and I didn't get back to him? Something simple like that. Or I didn't mention his name in the call. You have all of that detailed information available within the dashboard. We spec that. It also depends a lot on the client's data and the information that they have that they would like to share. So if the data is available, we can make that available at an agent level, at a manager level, and we can group them as well. And you group a manager, want to say, okay, if I'm a call center director, for example, I'm managing 50 or 20 teams or whatever it is, I could see at a team performance, okay, these are the teams that I need to, these are my bottom 10%. And this is where they're falling short. So it works at an agent level, at a manager level, at a director level as well. There's a hierarchy of information that's available at a very granular level.
Yeah, that's great.
Having the information or the data, we can make that available.
All right, folks. So, hey, we're going to have Rakesh back for a panel discussion, and of course, all of the folks. So if you are around the contact center, call center industry, or somebody you know, then invite them to the panel discussion that we're going to be running as a post-conference event. I'm calling that after party. And yeah, Rakesh is going to be there. But of course, we're hoping that we can have a small group, a more intimate group. We can dive deeper into industry and have more of a dialogue. So yeah, so we're looking forward to that. So certainly join that if or invite others that you know. Rakesh, thank you so much.